What's that? Another nebulous poem with questionable religious implications? It can't be Emily Dickinson. But of course it is. Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Fort, and we are here for another poetry discussion, which will appear in two playlists here on the channel. Number one being the poetry discussion playlist, now over 700 videos strong, and number two being the Emily Dickinson playlist, a playlist dedicated exclusively to the greatest poet of all time, Emily Dickinson. Some may argue and say that it was Shakespeare. They're welcome to their incorrect opinion. The poem in question today is I've Seen a Dying Eye, and it reads as such. I've seen a dying eye run round and round a room in search of something, as it seemed, then cloudier become, and then obscure with fog, and then be soldered down, without disclosing what it be 'twere blessed to have seen. Now, there's one great big question here, and there's another kind of almost as big question. The big question, set up basically by the dialogue of the poem itself, the big question which is handed to us, which is begged of by this poem. Did the eye find the it in question or not? We have seemingly conflicting reports. In search of something, as it seemed, then cloudier become. Between these two lines, there seems to be a sense of finality. There seems to be the idea that the eye did not find it before the cloudiness set in. Never does our speaker tell us that the eye had focused in on anything. And it only gets worse from there, because after becoming cloudier, it becomes obscured with fog. After being obscured with fog, it is soldered down. So we go from bad, a dying eye searching around the room, to worse when it becomes cloudy, to worse when it becomes obscured with fog, to worse becoming soldered down. Never in the process finding whatever it was that the eye was for which the eye was looking. But in that final couplet, without disclosing what it be, 'twere blessed to have seen. So at what point does our eye, our wandering eye, our wandering dying eye, our wandering dying cloudy eye find the thing for which it is looking? And then there's the question, also begged by the poem, for what is the eye looking? I think all of the sort of hallmark or cliche answers certainly are on the board. It's looking for love, looking for peace, looking for anything else that you want to put on that table that someone might be troubled for by the time they die. But I think that the answer to this is actually baked in to the framing of the poem. Let's read it one more time real fast to see if maybe anything stands out. I've seen a dying eye run round and round a room in search of something as it seemed, then cloudier become, and then obscure with fog, and then be soldered down, without disclosing what it be 'twere blessed to have seen. So it's strange, right, that we never get the moment that the searching eye finds something. We never get the moment where our speaker is So we never get the moment where our speaker acknowledges the eye has stopped, at least not overtly. I've seen a dying eye run round and round a room. Now, you know what this looks like, an eye rolling around a room, in search of something, as it seemed. Now, then cloudier become, and then obscure with fog, and then be soldered down. Now, it's possible that the moment the eye is soldered down, that's where it's finding what it's looking for, because that is leading right into that questionable statement at the end where the whatever it is has been found. I don't think that is compelling enough an answer, but I do think that the structure of the poem lets us in on something. The framing of the poem lets us in on something. So we do have a speaker. We do have a speaker that seems to be corporeally present. I've seen, right? Not I've heard, not an eye that rolls around before dying. None of that. I have seen. These three lines here, then cloudier become, and then obscure with fog, and then be soldered down. These, you would have a hard time convincing me, can be seen in periphery. If an eye, the wandering eye, is looking this way, you'd have a hard time convincing me that the eye in question, the I've, the speaker in question, could see it. I think that what's going on here, our speaker is looking at the looking eye. These three lines are where our speaker is making eye contact with the dying eye. I think that largely what is going on here, so also the framing of the poem being from the speaker and firsthand experience. The speaker is necessitated into the physical landscape of the poem by the statement, I've seen. So I think what's going on here is that the wandering eye, the dying eye, is looking for company. Well, that becomes difficult because, as the old saying goes, everyone dies alone. You don't hold hands into the afterlife. This, in my opinion, is why the ambiguity between whether or not the dying eye found what it was looking for remains. Because the wandering eye finds the speaker, which is a someone, but we don't necessarily know, we are not given for what that eye is looking, because while it finds a someone, the eye does not find company. Think of it. Think of all the firsts that you've had in your life. Many people have friends for firsts. A dedicated friend for the first time you go try a food, for the first time you go to a new club or bar, for the first time you X, Y, and Z. You have a friend for that. Some people have multiple friends. I prefer to stay on the zero end of things, but that doesn't mean it's any less true for normal folks. So, this idea of always having someone else there for when something new is embarked upon is probably not all that unique, not to our time, not to our culture, not to us. Probably it's always been a thing. You're going to go to the new store or club or bar or museum. You want to have someone there. What is dying if it's not a new sensation? The dying eye is looking around for that friend to take to the other side, to hold their hand as they go. But that dying eye is going alone. That's all I have for this poetry discussion. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other literature fans. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, literature is the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week. And as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.